I would like to call this meeting to order. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. And those of you from Emory and Oneonta, and the youngsters who are here also to lead our pledge. Just 1 minute and we'll have you up here. I guess we're calling roll call. Doing roll call.
Ellsworth?
Yes, I'm here.
Liker?
Here.
Lopez Aguino?
Here.
Medina?
Here.
Quinones?
Here.
Thank you.
Now I would like to welcome up here. They can't hear me, so this is why I'm having to do this. I would like to welcome Emory Academy and Oneonta School here for their presentation. And before we do that, I would like to recognize the principals to introduce the students who will be leading the pledge.
I would like to welcome Emory Academy's UN President, Brandon Corral.
Good evening. I would like to welcome Elijah Dobb, one of our student leaders.
Please stand.
Take off any hats, hoods, or beanies.
Place your right hand over your heart.
Ready? Begin. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Very nicely done. We have certificates and the photo wall. Parents, please come up and join them.
Thank you, Ms. Reichert Montiel.
We have more? Okay. I keep wanting to thank Brandon and Elijah, and it's wonderful that the parents are here, and it's wonderful that your picture is taken with your very excellent students. So first up is the Emory Academy school report. I would like to recognize Principal Rebecca Nelson for the presentation.
Oh, no, you're fine. There we go. All right. Well, good evening, President Ellsworth, trustees, Superintendent Espinoza, and esteemed guests. My name is Rebecca Nelson, and I am the very proud principal of Emory Academy of Global Leadership and Empowerment. Got pause. This evening, I would like to share with you some of the highlights and successes at Emory, as well as some of the areas that we have dedicated to improving. At the beginning of our school year, our staff dedicated time reflecting on our journey during the 22-23 school year. We discussed goals and next steps for our school. Through these conversations, we focused on what it means to be an empowered individual and how you can show leadership skills both in school and beyond. Through those conversations, we discussed ideas around goal settings for our students and with our students. We also developed a draft definition of success for our students, which, as you can see, is a successful student at Emory is confident in their learning, takes chances, and believes in the power of their own voice. They know they can make a difference and have an impact in their school, community, and society. As a school, we felt it was important to ground ourselves in this work as it is the foundation for all the decisions that we make on a daily basis, including the implementation of our SIPSA goals. At Emory, our 3 SIPSA goals are tied to academic excellence, equity and inclusion, and creating a welcoming and safe learning environment. When looking at our definition of success, we know that students need to be at school, feel safe, respected, valued, and heard to reach academic excellence. This year, with the support of our amazing SEL TOSA, we have introduced our CASEL-approved SEL program of Sanford Harmony. We have dedicated time and resources for all classroom teachers to conduct empathy interviews with their students. And we have also agreed to continue our school-wide focus of writing while including our district goal of creating and analyzing common assessments. When looking at the successes from the 22-23 school year, we are excited to share that all of our cohorts, as you can see as it's indicated with the different colors, have increased in ELA, and our school saw an overall increase of 4%. This wasn't done by chance. In fact, last year, our teachers focused on vertically aligning our work with writing specifically within that informational text type. We analyzed student samples and discussed next steps as a team. Through this work, we were able to tie our work to standards, allowing for transitions from year to year and pushing our students to where they need to go. As I shared previously, this year we're continuing with our work in writing, helping students give feedback to each other, empowering them, and helping them set goals for themselves and each other. Though math was not necessarily an area of direct focus, I'm happy to share that as a school, we saw gains for each of our cohorts and an increase of an overall percentage of students meeting or exceeding standards based upon the CAST assessment. What we did see was from our writing focus, we found that students transferred our practice of analyzing writing prompts to their math problem solving. This year, we know that the continued focus on analyzing writing, setting goals, and individual feedback will continue this progress. And we know that 30% isn't where we want to be, but it is definitely a significant gain. As a district, our goal is to have at least 95% of our students at school every day. At Emory, we strive to reach that goal and decrease chronic absenteeism. In the slide, you will see a comparison of where we were last year in percentage, the blue, to the orange, which is this year. And you can see that July, we had some significant gains of over 4%. At over 97% of our kids were in attendance. August 95, and then again in September over 96. But I also want to bring attention to our chronic absenteeism, which is those students that have missed 10% or more. And so what you'll notice is that mark goes to September. So in the 21-22 school year, almost 39% of our kids were chronically absent by the month of September. 22-23, we're at 28%, but this year we're at 22%. Again, we know that 22% is still very high. But through the connections that we're making with our families, the supports and services, and the educating of our families on the importance and the impact of absenteeism and things such as reading levels, we are seeing those gains. At our school site, you'll see we also are sending now postcards home to our students through our teachers to build those stronger relationships. We celebrate what are called random attendance days. We continued again with our superhero theme to kick off Attendance Awareness Month. And we continue with our monthly challenges from class to class, as well as creating things like rock and roll recess and movie with the principal. When I came into Emory last year, one of my big focuses was building that community environment and culture. And with the help of PTA, we were able to bring back many Emory foundational events. Such as bingo night, our amazing talent show. We also had our coffee chats in person, our ELAC meetings. We brought back our award ceremonies, but then we also brought in new environments such as our VIP lunch where all families were invited on May 10th to come and have lunch and play board games with our students, and have our health and wellness fair come back where our students had that opportunity to meet various service members from different community representation. Again, through that help with the PTA, we're really excited and we hope that it'll continue this year. As I shared, we want to make sure that our students feel welcome, respected, and valued. And so this year we have started again with that help of Ms. Ilyasha, our SEL TOSA, working with our staff every other week. This year, the students have created Harmony Goals. They're working on creating community circles and making sure that students feel valued and heard and respected within their classroom. We're very excited for this work and hope that it will continue with that help of having that coach, having that person next to you side by side, helping you through this learning. So at this time, I just want to share that I am incredibly proud of the work that we do at Emory. I know that we are small but mighty, and I wouldn't be without my phenomenal team over here. Their dedication, their passion, and their constant thinking of what can we do to help our students and families are what make Emory an amazing place. And I believe I speak for many others when I say that it's always interesting when you go about the community and you say, oh, I'm at Emory Academy of Global Leadership Empowerment, and almost everybody has that connection to Emory, and it's that place of feeling of home and welcomeness. So I thank you for your time, and are there any questions?
Well, first, is this new technology? It's just me. I would really like to thank you for your report. It's always, okay, everybody, I taught my whole time at Emory, so I'm particularly attached. See, they can't hear me. I have to be like Beyonce or somebody like that and really Taylor Swift. Oh, she's much younger than me now. Beyonce, not so much. So thank you, and I appreciate it. And I did go to one PTA event. I went to bingo night and got the shout out bingo. It was really fun. So.
Go Eagles. I used to have my picture in the principal's office with gum on my nose, but I think they took it down. Those were the days where we spent a lot of time in the principal's office or doing bad things. So I'm glad that that era is over and that children stay in class and are with their teacher all day. So I'm glad that discipline has changed and penalty sentences are no longer. And I will not talk in class, and that didn't work. Okay, just FYI. Thank you so much for coming this evening. I will be visiting with you tomorrow, and I was just sharing with the president how that walk, that long hallway for little feet takes like 20 minutes and 20 minutes back. Okay, so do recognize that, I've walked that since I was 7 years old. And so tomorrow, I might have a little bit of PTSD, but I will be there. And I'm so proud of the work that your leadership and your certificated staff and the TOSA support, you're classified. I know you didn't mention it, but you don't get pencils without them. And food service is right there. I've been there. It's like our nose follows where the food is. And so all those support systems matter to a child. And I come from a space of a 7-year-old that went to Emory. And so when I look upon today, I'm very proud of Emory. It's clean. The facilities are clean. Thank you, Franco, and your team. The modernization is beautiful. The playground is peaceful. We had dirt, okay? Dirt. And so it's come a long way. And, I don't want to say how many decades, but our children are real fortunate that the bond was passed that created that space for modernization for Emory. And making it an inclusive school for all, and that they can feel pride. And not that we didn't feel pride when I was 7, but the instruction, people say, well, who was your 2nd grade teacher? I don't remember anybody except for my 4th grade teacher, Miss Kavanaugh, and only because she taught me how to subtract. I was already in 4th grade. It was after school. I'll never forget the day it clicked. So thank you, teachers, for taking the extra time that a child needs to be with you, because those moments will stay with you. And look, I'm old now and I still remember Mrs. Kavanaugh. Okay. So you do make a difference in a child's life. Moving on, I don't want to say too much, but I'm real curious about the peer review writing. Because when you get up into the high school year, secondary, and college, you have a lot of peer review writing that they engage in. And I have grandchildren in college, and they always talk about this peer review. So it's really great that you're introducing this concept now, that it's not the teacher that's with a red pen. It's your classmates that are working together collaboratively. I think that's great. I've attended some professional development around parent engagement lately. One thing I noted that when we have parent engagement, and as we move and create pathways in different grade levels, that one stuck out in this professional development moment was, do we have parent grade level meetings? So you invite 2nd grade on Zoom or cafeteria, and so 2nd grade parents can talk to the grade level community and share stories about, Johnny doesn't want to do his math. What do you do? How do you do it? And so those conversations that bring parents along might be helpful. As a suggestion, I thought that would be great. Congratulations on your math score. You're right. There's a correlation. If you can't read it, I applaud you for your efforts on the attendance. I see your postings on social media, Twitter, whatever, whenever I see it's like tremendous work. Teachers are ready. You can't have instruction without students. So every effort that you make every day, know that I'm right behind you and pushing. Okay. thank you for acknowledging PTA. That brings our parents in closer. And let's see, what do I write here? Oh, regarding the TOSA, you said every other week? Okay, I just wanted to verify that. Okay, well, thank you again for coming, and I look forward to digging out my Eagle shirt tomorrow and putting my tennis shoes on and coming for a visit. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I make a slight correction? She won't be ready for you tomorrow because it moved to the,
I'm sorry, it's the 27th, not tomorrow, but you know, if I wanted to go tomorrow, I'll just tell the superintendent. So on the 27th, are we having a walkthrough parade in the morning, or do I need to come dressed in my Mickey ears on the 27th?
Because it is Red Ribbon Week, yeah, we will make sure that you guys know what our theme is for that day, for our Spirit Week of Red Ribbon Week. Yes, because you have to be kind to your heart and to your mind and live drug-free next week for Red Ribbon. We expect everyone to dress up because that's
So
the
it's
Emory
okay
way.
it's okay for me to wear my mini ears?
You can,
It's red
mean,
and white.
or we always take Emory blue, you know, that Emory
Well,
Eagle
I can
wear
wear
is
it
always there
underneath my
too.
hat.
So.
Thank you. Thank you again.
I just want to say thank you for your presentation, and thank you all of you at Emory for all of that you do to keep our kiddos safe and happy and healthy and keep them feeling welcome and wanting to come to school every day. Thank you.
are there any other comments? Thank you for your presentation. Appreciate it.
Go Eagles. Thanks for the presentation.
Okay.
And I hope I'm invited to the 27th.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. For the second half of our doubleheader this evening, we have Oneonta School. I'd like to recognize Principal Guadalupe Solis, who's hiding behind the podium. I didn't see you.
I always forget that button. Good evening, President Ellsworth, trustees, Superintendent Espinosa, and executive team. Thank you for having me. I am so excited to share with you the journey that our team has been on to make an impact in the lives of our leaders. But first, I want to recognize the representatives from our school. It is an honor to serve the Oneonta community. I'm so grateful. I would like to start by sharing that we continue to be a Leader in Me school, and we are very proud to be in our 8th year of implementation, despite the challenges we have faced in the last few years. We started this year as a staff reflecting on our work, redefining success, examining our data in areas of greatest need. In addition, we took the opportunity to celebrate our successes. We engaged in rich discussion about what we want for our students and how we can continue to remain focused on growing readers and leaders who feel valued and capable of success. In this presentation, I'm going to show you what this focus looks like, starting with literacy and then looking at leadership and school culture. I'll also share some data highlighted by the California School Dashboard, and I'll close with the video demonstrating the journey we have embarked on to make an impact on student achievement. At Oneonta, in order to ensure we implement all the components of the Leader in Me program, we synergize. The visual represents our school structure and how our team works together to accomplish our school goals and strengthen our implementation of the Leader in Me program. Our goal is to continue instilling in students leadership skills and habits in the classroom, throughout the school campus and at home. We are so grateful to receive the support of Lighthouse coordinators to work closely with me to coordinate the work of action teams. They lead the implementation plans and create an effective roadmap. Our staff also participates in Lighthouse and action teams. These teams are so critical, and they're such a critical part of the program that they meet regularly to coordinate the school-wide work needed to support the school's vision and mission. At Oneonta, we serve 403 leaders. 128 of them are multilingual learners, and we have 83 diverse learners. Our diverse learners are students receiving special education services, and we love to refer to them as students with diverse abilities. We continue our efforts to ensure academic excellence by strengthening our multi-tier systems of support framework to provide a differentiated, responsive academic instruction for students with various needs. Our teachers focus on delivering standards-based instruction, participate in grade-level professional development, collaboration time to analyze data, and plan for guided reading instruction. This is absolutely critical to the successful implementation of responsive instruction that meets students at their independent level and progresses them towards meeting grade level standards. By strengthening our MTSS system that uses universal screen and progress monitoring paired with data-driven decision-making, we can ensure academic improvement for all students. For students who need targeted interventions, we developed a plan to ensure we provide evidence-based reading interventions for all students at increasing levels of intensity to accelerate their rate of learning. Our team works together to look at school-wide data in reading and English language development to determine the most appropriate interventions to accelerate student learning. This includes opportunities to engage in leveled literacy interventions for students reading below grade level. This also includes our multilingual learners as well, who need support in developing their language and literacy skills. Our leaders work with either a learning acceleration tutor or a bilingual instructional assistant on targeted literacy instruction for either 30 or 45 minutes daily, depending on the grade level. I am so proud to say that our greatest progress over the past few years has been in the area of English language arts. As indicated by the California School Dashboard data, there has been a significant increase in the percentage points of students meeting and exceeding expectations from 15% in 2021 to 34% in 2023, which is a total increase of 19 percentage points. Thank you to my wonderful staff. We also made significant gains in the area of mathematics. An 11% gain was made from 6% in 2021 to 17% in 2023. We recognize that this is an area of need for our school. Therefore, it is vital to continue offering standards-based instruction and Tier 2 math interventions using evidence-based practices. Additionally, we are looking forward to offering before and after school math interventions to students with the highest need. To support our second goal and promote equity and inclusivity for all student groups, including multilingual learners, we decided to focus on providing ongoing professional development opportunities for teachers. The 2023 English Language Proficiency Assessments for California, known as the LPAC, indicates that about 38% of our multilingual learners are making progress towards English proficiency. We recognize that in order for our multilingual learners to make adequate progress towards English proficiency, they must have access to instructional strategies that promote language acquisition and literacy. Therefore, our teachers have started their Project GLAD training sessions. Project GLAD will provide our teachers with evidence-based practices to ensure our multilingual learners have equitable access to the curriculum and attain English proficiency. In addition to growing readers, we have been promoting a welcoming environment and fostering a sense of connectedness and belonging. We continue to strengthen our multi-tier system of support in the area of social-emotional learning and behavior. We ensure that all students have access to the Leader in Me program as a Tier 1 support. Additionally, we consistently implement positive behavior interventions and supports to eliminate challenging behaviors and promote pro-social skills. Our staff teaches the school-wide PBIS, ORCA expectations, and reinforces them throughout the school year. Also, they provide classroom interventions at the Tier 1 level when needed. With the support of our wonderful PTA, we have established a school-wide reward system to recognize our student leaders when exhibiting expected behaviors. We continue to strengthen our implementation of Leader in Me to develop leaders. Our students develop their leadership skills by taking on leadership roles. They track their academic progress in leadership notebooks and align their goals to our school wildly important goal, known as our WIG, which is in reading, 80% of Oneonta readers will move up 1 or more reading levels by the end of February, and an additional reading level by the end of May. We provide opportunities for students to participate in student-led conferences where they take a key role in engaging in honest conversations with their families about their growth areas, their strengths, and also some celebrations them as leaders. We encourage students to lead our Leader in Me Blacktop assemblies and to deliver messages focused on the habit of the month. During these weekly assemblies, we recognize our leaders of the week for exhibiting the 7 habits of highly effective people. I am very proud to say that our work with Leader in Me has had a tremendous positive impact in our school culture. At the Tier 2 level, with the support of our wonderful school counselor, which she's in the audience, so there in the corner, and our behavior intervention assistant, our student leaders receive social group lessons to help them build their social emotional skills, like nurturing positive relationships, managing emotions, and setting goals to succeed in school. We also offer behavior contracts targeting specific behaviors to motivate our student leaders to engage in expected behaviors when interacting with others. In addition to providing high levels of reading and social emotional support, we also began this year, we kicked off this year, establishing an attendance action team and built a partnership with the Improving Chronic Absenteeism Network, known as ICANN, to re-engage students and increase and sustain high levels of attendance and school participation. Our team makes strong connections with students and their families to support them in reaching their attendance goals. We examine the attendance challenges that our students and families are experiencing, and we offer them support with the support of our wonderful social worker and also our parent engagement liaison. They've been very instrumental in this work. Our school-wide attendance wildly important goals are collaboratively developed by staff members to ensure our student leaders meet their personal attendance goals. And our amazing social emotional learning TOSA, I'm not sure if she's in the audience, she has provided some support, as you can see in the picture, to some of our teachers, and she's done a wonderful job modeling lessons and helping our students develop those attendance personal goals. Our attendance WIG this year as a school is to reduce chronic absenteeism by 5% and maintain an average daily attendance of 95%. And I'm very proud to say that compared to last year, we have reduced chronic absenteeism so far by 8%. Our incredibly talented staff and educational partners have been instrumental in supporting this work. At Oneonta, we believe in the power of synergizing and supporting each other during the journey of developing stronger readers and leaders who feel valued and capable of success. I've prepared a video that encompasses the work we have been focusing on during the past few years since we returned from the pandemic. As you watch this video, you'll see how everything I have presented comes together in a student-centered way. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Any
Thank you.
questions?
Yeah. Or comments? We'll just start with Cheryl.
You know, when you've been here 60 years, you got a lot to share. My kids went to Oneonta. So, and as a child, we used to play around Oneonta and always imagine what was going on behind those windows. And we'd peek through and wonder what you were doing, what the staff was doing, you know, how the kindergartners played out front, you know. And then as my kids grew and the exceptional teachers and how the placement took place per grade level, and it didn't take me too long, I think first grade or second grade, where the teacher says, you know, we need more, you know, math work or reading, you know, 20-minute reading. And so I started targeting teachers in each grade level for their strength. And so I've shared this for 7 years, how important placement is, where as a secretary, we used to do the placements with the green card. And so by the end of the enrollment period, you know, the day before school starts, we're just pushing kids in, you know, get them in. And so a lot of kids get lost in that shuffle. And why I share that with you is that Oneonta is a very unique community. I'm impressed with your enrollment number. Very impressed. We've had some challenges this year: weather, sewage, housing, military, you know, recent events. And so our little community got frozen for a couple of weeks. So you did very well in your attendance in reaching out to families and saying that they were safe. And that meant a lot to me, your messaging, your social media. And so that meant a lot to me, because for some reason we just were frozen there. So I was very impressed by your numbers, because it did dip and then you picked right back up again. I could see, you know, where we were in crisis. And so I do my part. I walk the street and say, you know, how come your teacher's waiting for you? You know, don't be late. So, but I thank you for your report. I'm impressed with, you know, attendance. I'm impressed how your presentation talks about the tier MTSS approach. All kids come in at tier 1, and then it fluctuates based on the need. And so there's no distinction between anyone because all children deserve an equitable education. And so I'm very proud of your work and the Leader in Me program and keeping that program because it does develop children as they go through their secondary schools, that leadership skills. And that's evident by as they grow. I follow them. That's my neighborhood. Okay. I'm impressed by the goals that you've set and the academic growth. And quick, do you have? Because my kids went through this, and my grandkids went to Oneonta too. So we had academic achievement. We had our test scores. And so they were released to the parents. And so then we had an assembly. And then we went and celebrated because my granddaughter Kayla did so many points, gained so many percentage on her math or whatever she did. So are we still having assemblies like that where we bring people, parents in for, grade level announcements for growth?
Yes, we still recognize our leaders for academic achievement, for improvement, and also for the 7 habits of highly effective people. So we do have trimesterly awards assemblies. Yes.
Trimesterly.
Yes.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for your information here, and do know that I appreciate your staff. And the kitchen smells wonderful, and the grounds are very clean. In the back and the front. And, I appreciate. Said thank you to the city for planting the trees and the pavement work there. So, do know that I always think about you and your staff and wonderful times at Oneonta. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your presentation. And it was so nice to see all the Oneonta staff faces up there on the video because I worked with you as a community volunteer coordinator. And I know that the families and the staff just have a tremendous amount of love and support for each other. And it's nice to see that reflected here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks again for the presentation. The video was great. And Cheryl said everything else that I was going to say.
You're welcome.
And I would like to thank you also, Principal Solis and the rest of the Orcas who are here and not here. And
Yay. We're a small but mighty staff.
yes, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you. I would like to thank also our families, Dr. Dobb and his family. Thank you for coming and joining us tonight.
Absolutely. And I'd also like to thank there you are. Principal Nelson and the Eagles who are here this evening. Thank you both for coming. Okay, on with business. Yes, feel free to enjoy your evening someplace. Thanks for coming. Okay, do we have a report, clerk, of action taken in closed session?
Yes, Madam President, we do have a report regarding our closed session this evening. On a motion of Trustee Liker and seconded by Trustee Medina, the board approved a reassignment and a release agreement between the district and the employee ID number 416454 to move into a van driver position by the following roll call vote: 5-0, 5 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. That is my report this evening.
Thank you very much. Changes to the agenda. Do I have any?
Yes, please. I just have to put my paper here so I don't lose it. Right, Amy? Okay, Madam President, I would like to move item from Human Resources, item M, item memorandum of understanding with CSEA. Item N, job description, extended learning, athletics and club supervisor. Item O, job description, charter community school supervisor. And item Q, memorandum of understanding with SWATA.
From the consent calendar to where?
I looked at that. Let me see. Hold on a second. With all due respect, I think that that this could be handled last in educational leadership.
Okay, last in educational leadership. Okay, so after item C.
Yes.
Okay, you would like MNOQ. Correct?
Correct.
Items. Okay. Any other changes that were here? May I hear a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, vote.
Ellsworth,
This is the first time I've heard about this, so it's
About what?
a change out of
Check
the
your text
consent.
messages. I did inform you.
I'm wondering, what the purpose is?
For discussion.
I actually think they're fine where they are. I'm sorry, so no.
No. Madam President, it clearly says, at this time, trustees or executive team members may recommend changing an order of the agenda and or consent calendar to place the discussion and action section of the board meeting. I've done that.
Okay.
So therefore, it's been moved and approved. Now we call for the vote. She's voted.
And she called my name for the vote.
So you voted no?
Correct.
Oh, thank you for that redirection.
Liker,
Yes.
Lopez Aguino,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Quinones.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Okay, we are coming to communications to the Board of Trustees from our various groups. South Bay PTA Council is up first. I believe
I
Yes.
believe Susan Connors emailed you her comments.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody read it. Have read it. Yeah, it'll be there when you get home. Okay, California School Employees Association, Chapter 59, CSEA. Seeing none. Southwest Teachers Association, SWATA. I'm sorry? District Superintendent.
Yes, I am here. Good evening, President Ellsworth, board members, and everybody who is here, and those of you that are watching us on Zoom. I just want to start with a little bit of gratitude today. First and foremost, Team South Bay Union School District. I just want to show a lot of gratitude for our entire team. State data was released a couple of days ago, and district-wide, our team showed improvement in both ELA and math. So that is definitely, and we heard today, Oneonta and Emory some of the improvements that they made specifically. So that is definitely something that needs to be celebrated. We are not where we want to be yet, but this has given us a really good indication that we are moving in the right direction. And it's also given us, as data is released, of course, we start to look at the data, we start to compare data. And I believe it's given us a couple of really good challenges. By the end of this year, and I haven't shared this with many people yet, but by the end of this year, I hope to surpass our neighbors, National and San Isidro. I think, we're all kind of neck and neck right now, but by the end of this year, my hope is that we surpass them. By the end of next year, I hope that we meet or exceed the state averages. And they're not too far off. That's a little bit of a stretch goal for us, but I believe that this team can get us there. And the following year, I think that we can meet or exceed San Diego County's, which is higher than the state average, San Diego County's averages. So I think that these three goals for the next 3 years are definitely something our team can do. And if we continue to work together, if we continue going in the right direction, I definitely think this is something that we can do. My next piece of gratitude is really to our board. Many people, or I think a lot of people in our system don't always see all the extra work that our board is doing. But I did want to just acknowledge that our board has given up 5 of their Saturdays all day. They're great learning opportunities to attend Masters in Governance. And they've been attending, they've been learning a lot. And they're doing that because the goal is to really work really well together as a governance team, because that's going to help guide our district and guide the direction that we're going. In addition to those 5 Saturdays, they've also had several special board meetings where, again, they're working together to look at community input, to come up with our mission, vision, and values, which are going to be, we're going through that process now, and they'll be published soon. But also to talk, to discuss and agree on how we're going to work together. When it's going in the right direction, and then one of the most important things, how we're going to disagree, right? Because we're not always going to agree, but we're working on protocols, and I believe that's coming to the board today. So I want to just acknowledge them as well. Thank you very much. That's it for me.
Thank you. Let's see. Are there any public comments? No. Thank you. Discussion items. We have up first the aforementioned governance handbook. Superintendent Espinosa, please.
Thank you, President Ellsworth. Today we are bringing the governance handbook together, or forward, I'm sorry. But our board has been working, I was just talking about that. Our board has been working on a governance handbook, which is basically a set of protocols that our board agrees to, and it dictates what we're doing, what our goals are together as a governance team, and then how we're going to work together going forward. So today, and like I said earlier, they've had a couple of special board meetings where they've spent their time kind of going through the different protocols and having discussions around how they're going to do things. And today we have our final draft, and I'm bringing it forward to the board for any discussion and for a vote.
Okay. Are there any comments, discussion, questions amongst us?
I'd like to say thank you, Superintendent, for bringing this forward. It was a lot of work, and I want to recognize Ms. Cooper for her efforts. and I forget her name, the trainer from Leadership Associates, Blanca. I'd like to recognize her for her work. And we are a good board, and we do communicate well, and we work well together. And through that work, our board governance handbook is born. And so once we do the vote, it's important that we stay within our guardrails as promised. So as board members, we are good, and we are great, and we are mighty. And so thank you, Superintendent and Amy, and all the work that goes behind that, and technology for their efforts in that work as well. Thank you. With that, I move it forward.
Any others? Okay, I hear a motion to adopt our governance handbook. Second? Thank you. Call for the vote.
Ellsworth,
Yes.
Liker,
Yes.
Lopez Aguino,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Quinones.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
And yeah, thank you, Amy, for, yeah. She does a lot of pushing behind the scene too. It's great. No, it's perfect. Educational leadership. We are up to Director Paola Flores for her report on the recent District English Learner Advisory Committee, DLAC.
Good evening, President Ellsworth, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Espinosa, Executive Team, and community. This evening, I am happy to present on behalf of Coordinator Robles, who facilitated our first DLAC of the year in September. At our first DLAC meeting of the school year on September 12th, Assistant Principal Sharon Chan Williams shared highlights from Imperial Beach Charter School. Ms. Chan Williams began by spotlighting the ELAC team. She mentioned this was a new group of parents and shared their vision, which was inclusion and highlights of their multilingual learners in their classroom. Ms. Chan Williams stated the importance of student voice and participation in their learning and celebrating students in their successes, and reclassifying was a huge accomplishment. Lastly, Ms. Chan Williams closed her report by reflecting on the areas of improvement and growth, one of them being that IBCS will continue to recruit and engage parents in their ELAC. Further, Coordinator Robles and the DLAC attendees approved the May 2023 DLAC minutes. They reviewed the roles and responsibilities of forming a DLAC and ELAC. Each school received a link to the slides for both presentations, along with important documents shared by San Diego County of Ed. Coordinator Robles shared SBUSD EL Master Plan and English Learner Roadmap. Mrs. Robles explained to the committee the RFEP criteria and our goal for all students to exit South Bay Union School District in 6th grade or 8th grade being reclassified. Coordinator Robles discussed and explained the annual parental notifications that are provided via Parent View during the online registration process. She encouraged regular school attendance and celebrated that it's one of the most powerful ways that we can prepare our children for success, both in school and in life. When you make school attendance a priority, you help your child get better grades, develop healthy life habits, and have better chances of graduating from high school. And in closing, Coordinator Robles shared upcoming events, one of them being the CABE Mini Conference, which will take place on Saturday, November 4th, 2022 at Otay Ranch High School from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the Equity Multilingual Learner and Innovation Department will be supporting our any families that would like to participate in this conference. And with that, those were the minutes of our first DLAC of the year. Any questions or comments?
I'm wondering about how many attendees do you have at these meetings? I know this is the first part of the year.
At this DLAC meeting, there, unfortunately, we only had 3 parents, 6 principals, and 1 IMRT. So it is a dire need to ensure that we get our families to be part of ELAC and DLAC so that their voice is heard as we move forward in looking at our EL programs and ensuring that we have the best practices for our students in place.
Do you know about how many in the years past have attended? Just more or
That is a
less?
great question. I can speak from a site principal and then even just globally that as a site principal, I attended all of the ELAC and DLAC meetings last year, and it was still a dire need. I would say that at most we had maybe 5 parents total at DLAC meetings. Some sites, when they have their ELACs, they might have, like Nikolov has a high participation rate, 20, 30 parents, so does Pence. But we need to make sure that every school has a strong ELAC and that we have those members represented in DLAC so that all of our guardians are expressing and sharing their voice.
Do you think the time of the meetings is the factor?
Absolutely. I think that we have to be flexible in the times of day that we're offering, and possibly offering multiple times of the day so that families can make it to the meetings. Again, I'm speaking on my principal experience. At Central, we offered meetings 4 times a day if necessary, 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. So we have to do what it takes in order to provide the information to our families.
Thank you for your thoughts on that. Going
Absolutely.
forward.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
In our district, we have a large percentage of English language learners. How are we measuring if our English language program is working for our students? What will we do as a district if a dual immersion program is not working? Also, what will we do if it is working? What options do we have to open more dual programs?
Okay, I heard 3 parts to that question. So if I miss one, please remind me of what it was. The first one I heard you ask was about the effectiveness of our EL programs. So we are in the middle of our R3 phase of reflecting, redefining, and rebuilding. So it's a great opportunity to really set systems in place that allow us to analyze the effectiveness of our EL programs. That means we need to look at the Title III funded programs for our ELs. We have to look at the percentage of our ELs, and then the progress that they're making towards language proficiency. That also includes looking at our dually identified. We must look at our long-term English learners, the percentage of long-term English learners that we have, the progress that they're making or lack thereof, the supports that they're getting, and lack thereof. And we need to do that through a comprehensive needs assessment. The CDE provides all schools in California with a comprehensive needs assessment matrix that allows us to dive deep into all of the outlines, all of the bullets that I just outlined for you, so that we can see, like, hey, is this working? Okay, let's keep investing our federal funded dollars into this program. And if it's not, then we need to start looking at other ways to support our ELs. In addition to that, site principals will follow this process and ensure that they are looking at the best practices for our ELs, and ensure that it's written black and white in their school plans, and follow through with that. And then from the district perspective, my department will ensure that we are supporting the principals along the way to ensure that we're serving our students the way they deserve.
Yeah.
And then you asked me about dual language, correct? Absolutely. So dual language schools follow guiding principles that are fundamental for the program. It helps them really maintain the fidelity of their program. So these schools, all just like our other schools, they must engage in these guiding principles. One of these guided principles are broken down into strands. There's 7 of them. One of the strands is the program structure. The program structure allows the site principals and the educational partners within their sites bring everyone along. Hey, let's look at our vision and mission. How's this going for us? Let's look at our PLCs, our teachers engaging in vertical and horizontal articulation to see if we're meeting the needs of our learners here in a DLI school. Let's look at our equity in language, right? Are we maintaining the fidelity of the language in a 90-10 or in a 50-50 model? So I say that to say that really being grounded in the guiding principles will allow dual language immersion schools to really ensure that they're staying true to that model. So that's one way that they will evaluate their program.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I got more education in this moment than I have in 7 years regarding this. You are so plethora of information, and the way you deliver the message is clear and concise. I'm not a teacher, but I understood everything that you said. Okay. Thank you, Superintendent, for appointing her in this position. Our kids need, like I shared, our kids need you. It was sad to say goodbye to Central, but I also shared with you that you have 5,000 children that are going to be wanting you, and they do, and we need you. The program needs you, the parents, you'll get the parents. I'm sorry, that's my daughter. Sorry, daughter. The important piece is that we got to bring the community with us.
Absolutely, 1000%.
And your experience at Central and other areas in your life that you have shared shows how you champion those arenas and those experiences. And so I'm just really thankful that we now have an opportunity to go for discussion, Superintendent, on the board agenda, where before it was just a report out and not a discussion. And I'm thankful to Trustee Medina and her question, because it's been a question for her for 2 years, you know, and not being able to discuss that as a board. So I hope you come back. I hope that parents get re-engaged, because there was a time that they did participate, and having different meeting times does help, because we have working families, or you know, one person in the house. So thank you for your work, and if I could be your shadow on a field trip someday, I would love to spend some time with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And yes, thank you, Director Flores, for your plethora of information. It was
I have lots to learn, but thank you.
well, and you know a lot too. So, and we know that now. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Assistant Superintendent Pamela Reichert Montiel will bring us the LCAP 21-24 LCAP update.
Right. Good evening, President Ellsworth, Superintendent Espinosa, trustees, and all educational partners with us this evening. I come before you with another LCAP update. Just a reminder, we are in year 3 of our 3-year LCAP, getting excited about the new template that's going to be released. Goal 1, this evening, our update under Goal 1 will be on student progress monitoring. We do not have any goals or any updates under Goal 2 this evening, but we are going to share a Goal 3 update regarding after school enrichment, and actually intercession wraps it all together. So with that, I'm going to ask that Director Susie Chavez joins me at the podium. And at the next meeting, they will be sitting in the front row with me.
Good evening, President Ellsworth, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Espinosa, Executive Team, and community members. I'm gonna click on the local indicators presentation. Thanks. Okay, so tonight we will go over very briefly the local indicator performance standards and our reporting requirements for the California School Dashboard. So the California's accountability system is based on multiple measures that assess how local educational agencies, our LEA, and schools are meeting the needs of their students. These performance indicators are measured and are reported through the California School Dashboard. We have successfully completed the local indicators that were submitted by the deadline, September 29th, for our district, Imperial Beach Charter School, and Nestor Language Academy as well. The local indicator performance standards that we had to provide information on and input were priority 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7, which are basic services and conditions, implementation of our state academic standards, our parent involvement and in family engagement, our school climate, and what are we doing to provide access to a board course of study. So for each local indicator, the State Board of Education adopted these performance standards, which require our LEA to annually measure its progress in meeting the requirements of the specific LCFF priority using the self-reflection tools for each of the local indicators. And we have all three, South Bay, Imperial Beach Charter, and Nestor Language Academy, have standard met on all of these priorities. And we also have the requirement to present the LCAPs and the SIPSAs to the school board before July 1st of 2023. And we successfully completed that by submitting it on June 22nd, 2023.
I just want to draw your attention that I believe we had a typo under priority 7 should be broad. Yes, I just want to double check. So that's access to a broad course of study. And that really has to do with courses, and particularly with our middle schools, that they have access to different courses. Any questions about the local indicators before we move on?
I just have a quick question. We don't have that slide in here. So, I'm just gonna.
So we can send that out to you. It's the link embedded within the slide.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you. So on priority 2, implementation of state academic standards, we met that standard, but we've been having conversations the last couple of years about standards and not meeting the standards. So how does the dashboard in California State, whoever, the bigwigs up there, say that we met the standard when we're, struggling down here?
So what is used is the self-reflecting tools, and it's basically a rubric. And on this rubric, you have no implementation, initial implementation, partial implementation, or full implementation, or even developing implementation. And what it is that we're self-reflecting as a district. We are in the 3 R's of reflecting, redefining, and rebuilding. So part of this implementation of state academic standards would be, for example, are we providing professional development? Are we receiving reflections and completing a comprehensive needs assessments from our staff? Where are we in terms of implementing the state standards? Do we require our teachers to use the California state standards in their curriculum and in instruction? Absolutely. Do we provide continuous professional development throughout the implementation of the state standards that is done on an annual basis? And then are we continuing to reflect? How are we receiving the reflection from the staff, from educational partners? And then all of that is a comprehensive package, which is used to then develop our LCAP and our SIPSUBs, which is then evidence to support that we are fully implementing the state academic standards.
I thank you for that information. It's all attendance driven. And not to say that our teachers are not teaching the standards and that we are meeting, whoever up there thinks that we're meeting it. But, the bottom line is that our kids are not getting the standards because they're not attending. And so I'm glad the board and the work of the district has focused on that, because in order to meet that standard, this is, fluff to me, because our kids are not, we're just making small increments, and we really need to come stronger. So thank you for the information.
And it's kind of like a 2-part in terms of the California School Dashboard. So this is the California School Dashboard. CDE wants to know what efforts are we doing as a district in these priority areas. So what action steps are we taking? And then the part two that you're referring to is when we're going to be able to see the dashboard results, which will come out December 15th. That's where we will see that our students, that we have areas of growth for our students, where we do need to decrease attendance for students who are chronically absent. We will see growth on the California School Dashboard, but it's a two-part. So one, it's the actual how they're measuring us on the dashboard, and then part one, which is what we presented right now, is what actions are we doing as a district in order to support this? And then as a result, how are we seeing that on the California School Dashboard?
That's perfect information. It's very perfect because, we took it in April or whenever we took it, we were waiting. And, we talked to the superintendent and we're waiting. So thank you for that. There's two pieces to this and how it dovetailed into the work of the LCAP and our journey that Pamela has taken us in the last 2 years with our LCAP. So December 15th, you say?
December 15th is what they have initially proposed. So fingers crossed, hopefully they don't
crash.
Which happens to be one day after the board meeting in December. So we will bring the dashboard data back to you in January, unless miraculously they get it out sooner.
Well, it makes it really hard for everyone, doesn't it? When you take the state test in, April, and then, we start school again, we assess, and then we state test again. And so then we have to wait. It really, it just puts the teachers at a disadvantage if they don't have the data.
Well, and remember that they do have their data at a site level and a classroom level. What we do not have is the way that they're going to do all of their calculations and put it into the dashboard. So, yeah, it's sort of one step at a time. And actually, the data just became public just a few days ago to dive down deeper
Start working
into
on it.
the actual test results. But the dashboard takes a little bit longer.
Well, thank everybody for their work on this, and thank you for your presentation tonight.
Okay, so I'm going to have Amy exit out of that portion and we'll just go into an update. On, whoops, I went too fast. On the goal 3, regarding enrichment. I know that the LCAP written 3 years ago says after school enrichment. That was certainly before the ELOP funding came our way, and now we're providing enrichment and opportunities before school, after school, and during intersession. So Amy, if you can just click on the link about fall intersession, we just want to give you some information about our attendance.
I will send these slides to the board as well.
So first, I would like to thank the coordinated efforts from various departments and individuals for their hard work to ensure that our students received an engaging and very interactive learning experience. So thank you to Christina Alton, Sulema Pina, our host sites, IB, Bayside, and Nicholas, our child nutrition department, transportation department, our administrators, Joe Prosapio and Gerald Carroll. Thank you to Franco and Jason from our maintenance and facilities teams, Tom Bevilacqua from student services, and Joel from fiscal. Everyone truly exemplified in action teamwork, so they need to be ready because we're doing it again during the spring. So this fall intersession, we hosted at 3 different sites. We had the theme of sports and theater at IB, music and business at Nicholas, and science and nature camp at Bayside. So collectively, we had a total amount of 356 students that attended. Thank you to our child nutrition department who offered the breakfast, lunch, and snack to our students. We also had our community partner. So this was off-site, our Boys and Girls Club. They serviced 69 students from South Bay Union School District as well at their clubhouse. And they focused on STEM, digital game challenges, fitness, gym, Legos, team activities, writing journals, and they had a lot of pep rallies as well. These are some of the activities that the students engaged in. We had music, we had sports, we had a lot of art opportunities for students to showcase their creativity. There were engineering and building activities for them. There was a student there modeling her clay creation. Students also participated in gardening. And then here at IB, we had the students creating and presenting on their own was the Addams Family of Visual and Performing Arts here in Burris Auditorium. So thank you so much for your support and for allowing our students to be able to participate in such engaging and fun activities where they can showcase all of their strengths and learn new skills that will then open the world to new possibilities. Thank you.
Are there any questions regarding the intercession program?
Can I sign up?
I didn't have a question, but I love how different schools have different themes. And so you're not trying to like spread everyone thin, and I think it's a really effective and fun way to do things. We did not do fall intercession. We went on a road trip. So maybe next time.
Okay. Are there other entities? Who is providing all the instruction for all these different activities?
So we had our community vendors who are actually participating right now in clubs. So we have Elevo, we had Work Ed that was out. There was a lot of the science and nature activities. We had a community partner at Bayside Zoo Vargo that came and presented as well. So we're incorporating our existing community club vendors, but then also reaching out to additional ones as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank the team and our vendors that we're contracting with. It just provides an added layer opportunity for children and families, not only to participate, but to if they don't go to that particular school, to meet different students. And I saw that firsthand. The only thing that I'm hearing out there rumbling is that the children need to stay all day. And what if I just want to go for this club or this work? So are we looking at opportunities for children that are only need 4 hours of school day in a fall session?
So that is definitely something that we're looking into. I know sometimes we have financial restrictions in order for a student to be counted as attendance, depending on the federal funding that we're using. But that is something that we are looking into in order to accommodate the needs of the parents.
Yeah, well, I would encourage you to do that because we have children that attend our schools that are teachers, and they're teaching or not teaching and only want them to participate in the music or the art or gardening, and want to pick them up at lunchtime. And so I really appreciate some work around that area, and even if we just count them as a half day, if we can do that legally,
We
So,
can,
thank
we can
you.
definitely look into it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also want to know if this is permissible. Looking at summer program, targeting that swimming, it's ready. And so we already have that in place. So please work hard at that for us. We really need that swim program, and the swim coaches are certified and they're all ready. So please, superintendent, let's get that out, because last time the information didn't go to parents because the contract wasn't signed. And so it wasn't on the form. And so I had a lot of conversations with, it wasn't on the form. And so because the contract wasn't signed. So let's really work on that, so that information is provided to our parents. So we can have, well, we had what, 120 participate, which is phenomenal. So let's hope and dream that happens again. Thank you.
Definitely. We're actually in communication already for providing that opportunity for students during the summer. So we are getting the paperwork ready. We know that it takes some time to go through the channel, but we definitely have that in the works for the summer.
I do have one last query. Transportation, is that provided, or how does, okay.
Definitely, our transportation department participated and helped us to ensure that students had the opportunity to attend the themes that they wanted to, which is why you noted there was a staggered time for the IB start. In order for them to be able to make all 3 school sites, we needed the 8:30 start time at IB to be staggered in order to make that possible for all of our students.
All right. Amy, if you can, oh, that's me. Sorry. Last slide. So I just wanted to share the LCAP timeline with you. So the new template for the 3-year LCAP is supposed to be approved by the State Board of Education in November. In September, what they looked at were the recommended revisions. They've been having a lot of input sessions across the state of California. And I think those of us that have given our input are hoping that they will bring a slightly more simplified version than what was originally shared. So that will happen. And then in December and January, the CDE will facilitate training on the new template and the requirements. It's not an issue of the template itself changing so much as the directions. So in the past, maybe it said, educational partner input, and you would add it in the LCAP and share the different meetings. And in the proposed template, they were indicating a link to the input and an actual action step in the goals. So if that actually moves forward, it's not that the template changes so much as what I have to write in the narrative. So we will be finding that out and then attending training. We will begin our LCAP input with our educational partners in February. If we can do it sooner, we certainly will. It's again a matter of when the template's released. But we do have a day scheduled in February. It's always in February where we do the district-wide staff meeting or district-wide led staff meeting or PLC, in which staff across the entire district at all schools provide their input. And then we'll collect from our ELAC, DLAC, school site council. We'll have surveys. We'll have all different ways that we do solicit input, along with coming forward to the board during that time. When I present my LCAP updates, there will be the opportunity for you to provide input. And then that's why that's indicated in March through May, because I'd like to be able to come forward and also share the input that we receive in February and just keep you up to date at every meeting, along with the draft of the LCAP in May. And then in June, it would go for a public hearing, which is another opportunity for the public to provide input, for the board to provide input, and then finally the latter part of June that we will have the adoption of the new LCAP. And again, this will be a 3-year LCAP. Any questions?
This new template has a whole new definition to the LCAP and our requirements under the proposed LCAP template. So am I right in knowing and thinking that the state is requiring that the districts look at curriculum that is not effective and exiting that curriculum out?
There will be an analysis portion of the LCAP where we do analyze the current action steps. So that's something that will, and what they're proposing, it will serve as sort of an addendum to the LCAP. So it won't sit in the actual template, because that'll be 3 years moving forward, but that we will be asked to analyze all of our current action steps, indicate whether or not they have been effective. If they are effective, are we continuing them? And if they are not effective, are we ending them, expiring them? So that, and we do that every year. But the difference is in the 3-year LCAP, you don't have as much wiggle room to do that, but you still indicate if you have omitted something or haven't been able to do something. So let's say professional development, we were not able to have the professional development because we are short in guest teachers, our substitute teachers. So then we indicate that in the analysis. So we've always done that. It's just a question of how much that then drives the next LCAP. But our input will definitely drive the LCAP action steps. As far as goals are concerned, we can have 3 goals, 2 goals, 4 goals, 10 goals. In the past, we had 4 goals. I think in our original LCAP, we might have had about 7. And so we'll have the opportunity to look at that as well and see if we're missing something, or if we would just want to change the way that we are doing the goals. I feel that the goals are really, I feel they're good goals, they're strong goals, but we may desire adding another goal or digging deeper into our existing goals. And that's the input that we're going to solicit. We're not writing the goals ourselves. It's not something that we do in isolation, but we do from the input that we receive.
Thank you, Pamela. Thank you so much for your work and the team's work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We have now up next items from the consent calendar, letters M, N, O, and Q, which will require a vote, separate votes. So, item M, memorandum of understanding in CSEA chapter 59. You pulled it?
Yes, Madam President, thank you so much. I pulled this item for discussion, mostly to comment of the work that goes around negotiations and HR, our superintendent, in recognizing that our district needs certain services and giving an opportunity for our classified members to grow in their employment, be certified in an area of need for the district. And in this MOU with CSEA and our negotiating teams at the district, they've recognized that pesticide spraying is a need in our district, at our facilities, in our departments. And so in doing so, we have contracted this work out because we did not have a certified insecticide certificated employee. And so, as you note, on the purchase orders of the month, there is an insecticide payment of over $700 for that work. And so I just want to say thank you very much, Superintendent, for recognizing, one, we have the manpower or women power, whoever's doing this work, 8 people stepped up to be certified, and that in the long run, they get recognized for their work and grow in their employment and are paid for their work, and we quit contracting out. So with that, I move that item forward.
Are there any other questions or whatever for discussion? I hear a motion. May I hear a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, you seconded? I'm sorry, I missed that. Sorry. Excuse me. Yes, call for the vote, definitely. Yes,
Ellsworth,
yes.
Biker,
Yes.
Lopez Aguino,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Quinones.
Yes. And
Motion
thank you
passes
again.
5-0.
Job description, extended learning athletics and club supervisor.
Yes, Madam President, I pulled item N in hopes that we can have some discussion around what is an extended learning athletic and club supervisor. We have it in our board docs, the job description, but we need more information about what athletics and what is a club supervisor.
I don't have the job description right in front of me right now, but earlier, Director Chavez talked a little bit about ELOP and all the work that they're doing, and we saw some really good pictures of students doing different activities. That takes a lot of work. And so this position is going to help support that work. So if we want to have, a swim program, if we want to have all these different things, we need people to do that work. So this position is going to focus on some of the athletic side of the ELOP program that we're running. And so we hope to be able to bring additional activities to our ELOP students that are participating in ELOP. And our hope is that this position is going to be able to do that.
Thank you, Superintendent, and thank you for the explanation because it is new monies and our program is growing. And you're right, the work needs to be supervised. But in that supervision role, my hopes is that the opportunities to work for the program are first in-house opportunities for employees to work as opposed to contracting it out. Thank you, Superintendent. I move that forward.
Second. Any other comments or discussion? Call for the vote.
Ellsworth,
Yes.
Biker,
Yes.
Lopez Aguino,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Quinones.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item O, job description for the charter community school supervisor.
Yes, Madam President, I pulled item O to seek a discussion and more understanding about what is a charter community school supervisor.
The charter community school supervisor is a position for IB charter. That's why it's called a charter community school supervisor. And this is part of their community schools planning grant. So that grant, the planning grant, is really the intent behind it, is to allow a district, or in this case, IB charter, as they get their own grant, to plan what community schools is going to look like in this case at IB charter. So that's what this position is.
Thank you, Superintendent. I appreciate the information. I'm just concerned that the board has not seen a community school plan. And I know the work has to be done, and it falls on the principal and secretary. So, there aren't any people in the plan because we don't have a plan yet. So to be a supervisor, I just think that, this trustee is always asked for what's our next step regarding community schools. And the information was shared that we're in the planning stages. So what part of the plan is this that we don't know about, that they would need a supervisor for?
Yes, this is the beginning part of the plan. So this is the part that you plan the plan. This is called a planning year. So this is exactly what these positions are going to do. They're going to plan our plan. They're going to create the plan, right? With input from the different, from our different community partners. And I hear your question, right? We don't have a plan yet. Well, exactly, because we are in the planning year. This is part of the grant that we're receiving.
Well, not to beat a dead horse, but a charter community school supervisor will supervise who?
And I would not, I see that you're focusing in on the word supervisor. But that is when we are looking at different job descriptions, we're looking at things that, job descriptions that, perhaps already exist and what the role of that job description is going to be. We talk about whether it's going to be a coordinator, a director, whatever it may be. And with those titles comes, also a salary. And so when we look at this, the supervisor position kind of fits into what we think that person is going to be doing.
Well, thank you so much for that additional information. I look forward to a job description that has a secretary component, because if we're going to have a supervisor, we need clerical support in implementing a plan. And so it doesn't fall on the Imperial Beach clerical staff or any other person there. So if we're going to have a supervisor, I would look forward to a job description that supports the work of the charter community school supervisor. Thank you. Now, with that, I'll move it forward.
Okay. And, just to kind of respond to that, as this person, and this one's specific for IB charter, but we also have someone district-wide. As this person starts to get into that work and starts to work with our county, who we are working with hand in hand on our community schools grant, if they identify we need A or B or a secretary, whatever they identify, then we're going to bring that to the board. If it's not something that's needed at that point, this person may not necessarily need some administrative support. They may be able to do it all. So we can't just determine, hey, we're going to need these 3 people to support this person. We don't know that yet. Right. And that's what I keep saying to the board. We don't know that yet. We are in the planning stages. Once we get through that, then we will bring a full plan to the board with the needs, of course.
Well, I appreciate that. I just don't want the planning stages to consume IB charter in that work. And so if we have a supervisor that is designated, I agree that she'll be, but as far as clerical work is concerned, so I'll look forward to the next step. Thank you.
I second the motion.
All right. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, call the vote.
Ellsworth,
Yes.
Liger,
Yes.
Lopez Aguino,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Quinones.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item Q, memorandum of understanding with SWATA.
Thank you, Madam President. I pulled item Q, memorandum of understanding with SWATA, specifically to share with the board and have a possible discussion in regards to what an MOU is and the work behind the district negotiating team and working with SWATA in a collaborative way to serve all our students. In this bridge authorization program, it identifies that services can be provided by teachers that join, if I'm correct, in the program of a bridge authorization. So in applying for this work, these teachers are paid more, Madam President, in that work. So I'd just like to comment that we do not have a human resource section that is open to discussion except for these parts. And, you know, I pull this because we need to say it. Thank you to our teachers for taking that bridge course and providing the services to our students that they so deserve. Thank you. And with that, I'll move forward.
I second.
All right. Any other questions or discussion? Call for the vote.
Ellsworth,
Yes.
Liker,
Yes.
Lopez Aguino,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Quinones.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Anna, are you still here? People have been hiding from me. I'd like to welcome an update on child nutrition, Director Ana de Castro.
Hello there. Good evening, President Ellsworth, trustees, Superintendent Espinosa, executive team, and community, South Bay community. I'm Ana de Castro. I'm here to present mainly on child nutrition, but also on the other two departments that I oversee, which are a warehouse and print shop. So I will start with child nutrition. Do I do that myself? Yeah, okay. Perfect. So child nutrition, we have 57 amazing employees. I'll brag a lot more about them later. We have 3, 4, or 5 employees at each site, depending on how many students we serve, what kind of programs we have at each site. We serve breakfast, lunch, and supper, and also Head Start snacks. So we serve all ages and at all sites. We also serve intercession in summer programs like Susie mentioned. We just served over 6,000 meals for during fall break. I always like to remind everyone that our team did an amazing job during the pandemic. They served over 500,000 meals during 75 Mondays, rain or shine, they were there serving the community, seeing the kiddos and serving weekly meals. So I love to, always give them a shout out for that. We also do nutrition education. So any chance we get, we reach out, to teachers reach out to us. Anyone in the community can reach out to us. We'll love to, offer nutrition education to students, staff, parents. And we also are responsible for the Student Wellness Committee, which, by the way, we'll have a meeting on next Tuesday at 3:00 at the warehouse. So everyone is invited. And then I would like to remind everyone that also that all students eat free. So we're very happy that breakfast, lunch, and supper and snacks, they're all free to all students. I'd like to start by explaining also a little bit of the funding and reimbursement that we receive. We are apart from the general fund, so cafeteria fund, or Fund 13 as we call it, it's a self-sufficient fund. So we don't rely on the general fund for operating resources. Everything is that we basically receive our funding from the meals that we serve. So the higher the participation, the higher reimbursement we get. So it's based on the monthly claims. So to each meal we serve, we get an amount for that meal served, and then that's our monthly reimbursement, our monthly claims, as I call it. So this we can think of, we get $5 or $6 per lunch for reimbursement, and we can think you can do a lot with $6 for a meal, right? But that money covers a lot more than that meal. It covers food and beverages, which is a big chunk of it, but that's just part of it. It covers paper goods, trays, sporks, napkins, cooking, foil, you name it. It's a lot. Supplies, so cleaning supplies, kitchen supplies, pans, everything. Salaries, benefits, which is the biggest chunk of our reimbursement goes to salaries and benefits. Equipment, steam tables, ovens, warmers, trucks, all kinds of equipments also come from the general fund, from the cafeteria fund. And there's operational costs too, which you can go from pest control, gas. We have the permits that we need to do, maintenance of those equipments that I mentioned. So there's a lot of extra added costs that this reimbursement needs to cover just on top of the food that we serve the students. So I would just give you, so like I mentioned, the money that the budget, the fund comes from the participation. So each meal that we serve, It's tallied. We enter a claim at the end of the month, and then we get paid for state and federal funds covered like for that reimbursement. So just to give you a snapshot of our participation, we have an average participation of 1,500 breakfasts daily, 4,300 lunches, suppers around 600 a day. Our participation, we got a full month, which is the month of August, which is usually a full month that we serve. Last year, in 2022, our participation was 68.6% for the month of August, and this year is 75.2%, which is an increase of 6.6%, which is roughly 400 students a day more than last year. I think that's a great representation of either menus. Devin does a great job. She's sitting right there. We're matching today. Not intentional, I swear. She does an amazing job planning menus, make sure we listen to staff, listen to students, what they like, what they don't like, what is going, selling, we call it. So just to make sure that we're listening to our students and we're making sure that we serve what they like. And also parents, they trust us more. Like they don't send their kids to lunch to school. So that means they trust what we're serving at our kitchen. So that's a good, I think we always kind of analyze our success based on participation. So that's a good, thing to look at. So let me just skip here. So like I said, we do menus, breakfast, lunch, supper. Is not one size fits all. We definitely, Devin, like I mentioned, does a great job at planning the menus, special diets, and making sure that each menu is tailored to age groups. Or for example, we have breakfast, it's breakfast from K-8 and also VIP breakfast. They have a different breakfast, which is something we implemented last year. VIP didn't used to have a breakfast, and now they have breakfast and lunch as well. So we're very happy about that. They have a great breakfast number. Their numbers are over 100 breakfasts a day of VIP. So it's pretty good. Lunch, same thing. Preschool lunch, we have VIP, Village, and Nikolov. So they also, Nikolov also has VIP, K-6 at 11 sites, and IB Charter and Nestor also have the middle school lunches. So they have their own menu. They have different salad bars and have things with tahini on it. They have different items for lunch as well, tailored to their age group. And for after school, we do Head Start snack for the preschoolers, and we do supper at 11 sites for the kids enrolled in the after school program. So it's a full meal that they receive around 3 o'clock when they're enrolled in the after school program. All those menus are posted on our website so parents can see what's being served at any given day. And then so they also I like to mention that we do 2 items per day. So they have 2 hot items to choose from. And we also offer a vegetarian item each day to that menu. So the kids have, roughly 3 items each day to choose from. And then you might ask, how do you plan those items? How do you say you listen to students, but how does that go about? So I know there's a lot of stigma on the perception of school lunches. You see pizza, you see corn dogs, you see those items that are normally known as unhealthy. I just like to mention that, yes, those are corn dogs, those are pizzas, but they're oven-baked pizzas, oven-baked corn dogs. They're not fried. There's low cheese pizza, low-fat cheese pizza, whole grain pizza. So there's always those, catering to our customers, serving what is appealing to them, but also with a little disguise of healthy, in there that they might not even know when they eat a pizza that is a whole grain pizza or things like that. So I just like to point out what the strict guidelines we need to follow. I use here the example of lunch because it's mainly the main participation we have is lunch K-6. So for example, a regolith, any menu for lunch for K-6 has to have entree with 2 meat components and 2 grain components. That's why usually we have, a burger with there's the meat component and the bread, which is the grain component, or a burrito, so they're always going to have a meat or a grain component. It doesn't have to necessarily be meat. It can be cheese, but it can, it has to be the dairy or meat component in it. Calories between 600 and 650 calories. There's no wiggle room there. This is average for the whole meal, for the week. There's no wiggle room. We really have to put all those items are entered in software, item by item, the fruits, the vegetables, the milk, the grains, the meat, and it always has to be within that range which is a very small range. If you think about it, 6 to 650 has to be very within that range. Saturated fat cannot be over 10% of the calories. Trans fat, 0. which means there's zero fat fried food in our menus. Like I said, corn dogs, all those things are oven baked. I know that we're used to some of those things being fried, but there's zero fried food in our menus. All our grains that we serve are 50% or more whole grains. So that might be the perception that kids might not like it, but we think like the earlier we introduce that to them, the easier that it's for them to get used to the whole grains. We have to always offer 2 options of milk. We choose to offer both fat-free. We could offer 1%. Our students are used to fat-free, so they're fine with it. So it's chocolate and a white fat-free milk. We have to follow vegetables throughout the week. So we need to offer a certain amount of dark green, red, oranges, legumes, starchy. So you're always going to see a variety of vegetables in our salad bar. Fruits, we only require to offer half a cup of fruit a day. We choose to offer a lot more than that. So we just offer at least 3 types of fruits and 2 types of fruits and 2 types of vegetables daily. So you're going to see a large variety. And then this is just, I say, average, but they always offer more. If they didn't use that on a Monday, didn't use all the spinach, they're going to use the rest of the spinach of that day. So there's usually a little more than what's on the menu for that day. So as you can see, I will just give you it's usually easier to see than, said. This is a couple of photos of the typical salad bar that we have at our salad bars. So as you can see, we always, during our lessons, we tell kids to eat the rainbow. That's our little, lesson that we do about eating the rainbow, to teach them about the importance of eating different fruits and vegetables, the different nutrients that you have in each fruit and vegetable. So we have to, if we say that, we have to present them with the option of eating the rainbow at the salad bar. So that's what usually you could see at any given day at a salad bar, one of those schools. So that's what the students have access to. And then this is a couple of examples of pretty looking trays that we find when we're out there. Just on the right is orange chicken with the vegetable rice, which is one of our kids' favorites. One of my favorites too, I have to be honest. On the left, we have the fish sticks with lemons, and we also tailor the salad bar to that item menu. So for example, we have burgers, we're going to put lettuce, tomatoes, things like that on the salad bar. Right now we're doing a new item, boneless chicken wings. So we're putting celery, carrots on the salad bar. So try to give students and encourage them to make those items at salad bar match what they're having on the menu. So to encourage them to try some of those items. Right there on the top is brunch for lunch, which is a popular item as well. And on the left, there's the spicy chicken tenders, which are also a hit, especially amongst the older kids. So these are just a few options of menus that the kids might pick and select from the salad bar and from the entrees, which it's making me hungry right now, but I'm just gonna go ahead and skip it. Like I mentioned, we do besides the menus that we plan, obviously, which is the biggest chunk of our work. We do nutrition education. Devin is also a registered dietitian as myself. So we have the expertise to, instruct kids and, do nutrition education, do lessons. So any chance we get, Devin is over there asking kids about their favorite fruits so we can bring for Harvest of the Month. So which is Harvest of the Month is something we offer every Wednesday on the salad bar. It's a local and seasonal fruit or vegetable that we bring on the salad bar. And then we have signs outside in the cafeteria to instruct kids about what kind of fruit or vegetable is that. Sometimes we do something kids never try, like persimmons, or, I did a lot of different items that kids never tried before, and then they're very curious about. So there's something information for them to read about that and get information about that. We do special events. So anytime we're invited for special events. On the bottom left, it was the health and safety fair at Emory, which was really fun. The kids learned about the Eating the Rainbow lesson. The middle one was a dance festival in Mendoza that we've had a little nutrition education between then, their dance lessons. The Emory, me with the little kiddos there, it's the kindergarten nutrition education lesson that we did as well. And that's me flipping burgers at Sunny Slope when we did a Dia del Niño event, and the kids were so stoked to, I don't know, I felt great. Just, flipping burgers smell good. The kids were excited about it, and we did a special menu for them for that day. We also do, we do advise, if teachers or PTA or principals want information about healthy fundraisers, what they can do about healthy fundraisers. Celebrations like Pizza Day, like we do Pizza Day for attendance, which is really good. The classes with the highest attendance get pizza, which again, school pizza, whole grain pizza, and like it comes from Papa John's or Domino's, but now we have Papa John's, but it's school pizza. Like they have contracts with school district and provide a specific kind of pizza, which is whole grain, low fat cheese, low fat pepperoni, and all that. So it's just kids don't know the difference. They love it anyway. So, and again, like I mentioned, the student wellness committee, that it's everywhere, everything related to wellness, well-being of our students, and then we offer input from everybody. We have nurses attend, principals, students, parents, and it's just basically like how can we improve the overall well-being of our students when they're on site. And we have an Instagram. You can more than welcome to follow us. It's SBUSD Child Nutrition, where we post photos of our menus, events, and things that celebrations that we're having for our department. But I couldn't do anything without the amazing team. And I said I was going to brag about it. I don't think I brag about them enough because they are exceptional. Those 4 photos of those ladies there are the ladies on the, doing the job, showing up every day, selling our kiddos with a smile on their face. They love their job. They know every single one of them by name. They know their special diets. They, it's amazing. They know their story. They know when they came to the school, when their brother, the sibling that went to the school. It's amazing, the knowledge and the sense of community they have to those students. So very proud of my team. They're amazing workers. They do their job. They love what they do. We have those gentlemen in the center right there looking sharp are our CN drivers. Russell, Renato, and John do an amazing job keeping our inventory in place, taking care of our freezer deliveries, stocking our schools, making sure schools have what they need. They're always willing to help out, to jump in. We just recently had our freezer redone at our main warehouse freezer, had to take all the food out, put them in trucks and refrigerated trucks, had them work on the freezer. So then when they're done, they put it all back. They did an amazing job. They jumped in, they worked during fall break. I couldn't give him enough credit. On the right there is the 3 ladies at the office. Devin Walker, like I mentioned, our district registered dietitian, our child nutrition supervisor, does an amazing job with the menus, special diets, planning, also nutrition education, plans every single one of those menus, enters them in a system, and takes care of the sites, visits, make sure the sites are working. And Olivia Fay is our business service technician. She takes care of all the paperwork, paying bills. She does an amazing job making sure everything behind the scenes is in place. So I will, like I mentioned, so this is for the child nutrition, but like I mentioned, I always oversee a couple of other departments. So I'm just going to give you one brief overview about both of them and some updates about the other departments I oversee. Warehouse, we have a new team. Hector retired after 29 years in the district, so we missed him dearly, but we have a new team. Armando is our new storekeeper, used to be the warehouse driver. He's now the storekeeper. Jose Oriate used to be a child nutrition driver, is now the warehouse driver. So just to give you an overview of the department, warehouse does a little bit of everything. They transport materials between sites. They do the mail run, which is like they go from site to site, picking up documents. If they need to go from site A to site B, everything that needs to go. So they take care of all of that daily. We survey equipment. If there's something that your site doesn't need anymore, we pick up, we put it, offer to another site. Or if the sites don't want it, we put it for sale. Just make sure we try to get as much, back to the district as possible. And then eventually if it doesn't sell, then we dispose it, but we just do that process before we dispose the items. We receive all purchase items. So if a site buys anything coming to our house, from playgrounds to books to everything, we receive them, check them, and then deliver them to the sites. We coordinate staff moves. So if a teacher needs to move from site A to site B, items need to be moved from, IE to B, our drivers take care of that. And we also stock, like our main warehouse stocks over 250 items, from custodial supply, educational supplies. So items that are more used more frequently by the schools, we keep them in stock. So when sites need it, it's just like a drive away, a trip away, and then they can get it right away. So we make sure we stock those items for them. So that's warehouse. They do a little bit more than that, but I mean, I could go on. And those guys are, they were willing to help out whenever they need to jump in. So they're amazing. And last but not least, print shop, Rocky Ramirez. Like probably all of you know Rocky. You work with him at some point. Amazing. Does it all, like one man show. All those logos there that you see, those beautiful logos he designed. He's not just, print shop, but he's a great graphic designer. Like he does banners, posters, everything for the district, billboards, everything. He does a great job. They do district order forms, district forms, envelopes, business cards, instructional materials. So Rocky doesn't like to say no. Even if it's a rush order, he'll work on it. So he does an amazing job. Also, if you haven't seen, that's his face right there, so you recognize him when he's out there. But he does an amazing job too. So I'm very proud of the three departments I oversee. I have an amazing team in all of them. So I very proud to work with this team that I just feel that here been speaking without, just I wanted to make sure that they're recognized as well. So thank you very much for your time, and then I'll answer any questions you might have.
I don't have any questions.
Yes.
But my daughters have lunch at Nestor every day, and the chicken tamale is one of their favorites.
Good.
And it's convenient, and it takes stress off of me to not have to pack a lunch every morning and know that they're gonna eat a good, healthy lunch at school. But not only that, but with the rising cost of living, it's a huge, it's just a huge service that you're providing all of our students and families so that they don't have to worry about all those meals every day. So
Yes.
thank you for all you do.
Thank you very
No
much for the
problem.
feedback. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you so much for staying.
Oh,
and
my
presenting.
pleasure. Absolutely.
We've missed you because it's been a while since you presented last, and very proud of your departments because going through COVID and returning, your department was definitely weighed upon for all you've shared the work and some. It took me on a memory lane as you were sharing, because I know what the guys do. I know what the print shop does. I know what the ladies do. I know what the ladies do in the kitchen. It's just the amount of work in a short period of time that your departments do is commendable, and it should be recognized every year. That that service is greatly dependent on the school sites connecting, doing requisitions, print order. I mean, your departments support this work. I just want to recognize all that work. The food service, you've increased the participation. That is great. I can't say I like the menu, but I'm not the kid. And but we do have kids that bring lunch. So if mom or dad doesn't have a lot in the bag, are children permitted to go get a piece of pizza?
Oh, absolutely. If they bring lunch from home, they are absolutely still, meals are free. They're allowed to come and get a meal if they want. Some kids do that. They bring meals from home and then, oh, I like the menu today, and then just go ahead and eat the lunch we offer.
So
Absolutely.
it's not like before where they herded into the bring your lunch bag
Right.
over this way and the hot lunch goes this way?
Oh, no, absolutely not. They are allowed to change if they want to big, even though they brought lunch from home, they are allowed to go into the line and get a lunch with us. Absolutely.
Or grab a fruit or whatever.
That is a guideline. We're not allowed to do that. They would have to get a whole meal, but the whole meal will be free. Even if they just want the fruit, they by guidelines, they have to get the full meal. But then yes, absolutely, they were allowed to get that.
Okay. I'm still waiting for my invitation for spaghetti.
Okay.
Not from Domino's or not from, cooked spaghetti. I'm still waiting for that invitation, just FYI.
Okay. Keep that in mind.
And I asked about the food waste last time and what we're doing with that. You were considering perhaps look into it too, doing a pilot program as far as compost.
We actually now there's a bill coming up, the bill 1383. So then we actually just met with Feeding America last week, and we have a contract with them, which we're going to divert some of the food that is not used. It will go to, we cannot do technically like the food is waste, like it goes in the trash, but the food, like for example, in our kitchens that they cook and it don't serve, that food is going to be refroze or stored. And then the food that was not used or it is, we met with them. They gave us a few guidelines, what can be donated, what cannot. And then we are going to pilot it to schools for now. And then the idea is to implement it all of them. And then the Feeding America has a website. So we post that item, those items that we have on their app, their website, and then a partner. It can be a shelter or a organization or anything. They have like I think over 300 partners, and then that organization will, okay, I like those, I need those, and they select them and they schedule a pickup time and then come and pick it up and then take it to their organization. So that's something it's going to be in place, I would say next month or so. We just need to again train our staff and there's some guidelines that need to be in place in order to do that safely. But that is something that it's a pilot, but is a law. So it's going to become eventually, sooner than later, a project to all the schools.
I was reading about that too. In regards to charitable organizations in our community, in which serve families over and above what we do as a district. And so in having that extra inventory, I hope that you would select our local nonprofits in that request first.
We don't really get to select them, and because they need to be in the contract and the partnership by law, they need to be organizations in that contract. But I would say 99% of the time, they even mention like the organizations that are in the area. Those are going to be the ones that are going to select it because they are like, nearby our schools, and then they're going to be the ones, because there's the partners all over San Diego. So there's schools that will serve from the north, schools districts in the north that would feed that would provide meals for those schools up there, and then the ones out here will most likely be the ones in the area in the community that will come and pick it up those items.
So like the Imperial Beach Neighborhood Center has a food bank, and lots of times organizations donate extra fruit, tangerines or or frozen food, or I'm just looking for local support here because our families are hungry, and it's indicated on your participation level. If we have 5,000 kids, but we're only feeding, 1,500, we need to bring that number up because there are a lot of students out there that are still hungry at the end of the day. And, the Papa John pizza, well, my journey has taken me that pizza is 850 calories on a regular day.
No, not the one we serve. It's like, Devin, it's like 300 and something for the slice of the pizza that we serve.
I need to come to lunch over at the kitchen near me. So thank you so much for your presentation this night. And thank you to your staff and all departments that you are a good leader in and supporting our district work. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have a question about the big 7th and 8th graders.
Okay.
It seems like 600 calories doesn't quite cut it for some of those guys. Are they allowed to have 2 lunches?
We are not allowed to serve 2 entrees, but the salad bar is unlimited. So anything they want to grab from the salad bar, apples, oranges, the vegetables, there's no limit for that. We by law, we can only serve them 1 entree, and the idea behind that is if they're hungry, they should be getting more fruits and vegetables instead of getting maybe another tamale or another pizza. Then they would get more of the fruits and vegetables. But absolutely, the juice and the milk they can only grab 1, but the fruits and vegetables, they can go back for more. They can get as much as they like there's no limit for that. So they can get as many bananas, apples, oranges, and fruits as they please. Yes.
Good. We need winning sports teams and
absolutely
smart kids.
Yes. The average in the calories is basically just like to put on a template. It would just be like that. If they eat the minimum that is required, that will fit in those calories. And then absolutely, depending on the kids and the age group and stuff, because we need to serve at a K-8 menu. So it's just, feeds from the little ones to the older ones. So that's by regulation, we need to be in that, age gap from K-8. So that's where the calories fall in, but absolutely, if they want more of the salad bar, they can go back for more.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I won't worry so much now. Thank you so much. It's always enlightening to hear all the detail. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, folks.
Consent calendar. May I hear a motion to approve it as amended?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Call for the vote.
Ellsworth,
Yes.
Liker.
Yes.
Lopez Aquino,
Yes.
Medina,
Yes.
Quinones.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Future agenda items. At this time, each trustee may suggest one topic for a future board meeting. Are there any?
I'd like to request a follow-up regarding the schools, the community schools implementation. I believe a few meetings ago, we had SWATA President Vanessa Barrera introduce a resolution asking for the creation of a steering committee in order to ensure like true collaboration. And I would like to hear more about what that would look like what would the steering committee do? How would it be made up? How can we work together to make sure that community schools are done in a way where we're including all stakeholders?
Okay, and I just want to clarify here. Are you asking for Ms. Barrera to give you a follow-up? Or who are you asking for a follow-up from?
I mean, if she or somebody from SWATA could present on the steering committee and the formation of it, I think that would be good.
Okay, I'll have to get some additional information just to make sure that we are bringing the board what they need. So, so at this point, you're asking for a follow-up on the recommendation of Ms. Vanessa Barrera on a committee, steering committee.
Yeah.
May I add a little to that? If that's from one point of view, could we somehow get some information on the same topic, whatever that boils down to be, from another point of view? I don't know how this works, so, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so, and just, I want to make sure that we're sticking with the requests. So at this point, board members are allowed to make a request for a future agenda item. What will happen next is that request will be added to our next agenda item, and then we can have a discussion. So right now, I want to make sure I have a real good understanding and for the purpose of ensuring that it's correct on the next agenda item where it could be discussed. So I want to make sure I have a real good understanding of what Trustee Lopez Aquino is asking for. And so what I'm hearing right now is a request to have Vanessa Barrera present a follow-up on a steering committee. Is that the request?
If she's the best person to present on the steering committee, yeah, but I don't know if it has to be her, but I would like to understand more about this steering committee and what that would look like.
Okay, so this is your item. So you have to clarify the request. I don't know who the best person is. So if you're wanting, what I heard you say was that you wanted perhaps Vanessa to present on the steering committee. So I'm just trying to understand the request so that we can add it to the next agenda item. I don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't have to be Vanessa. Let's say SWATA, a presentation from SWATA regarding the steering committee.
Okay, so what we will have on future agenda items will be a request to have SWATA present on a steering committee.
Great.
Okay.
So at this point, do I follow up with that, or if I have an idea, okay.
You make your own request. Yes.
I have my own request then.
There you go.
Thank you for that direction. Something that I commonly hear all of us asking for is, how are we monitoring progress with all of our different, programs that we have going on? And I just started recently at National School District as an impact teacher as part of their MTSS implementation. And I've been introduced to a program called Panorama, which I'm so impressed with, like all the data driven services and looking, like having timelines and looking at like, we're going to try this for this long, we're going to see if they meet their goals, and if it doesn't work, what's another option? And they even have like a playbook where this program puts it out there for you. And I'm not very tech savvy. I don't know if you noticed that I didn't even know how to put this little thing up right here earlier. And it's very user friendly. So I would like to see maybe a presentation of the possible adoption of some type of technology such as this, because not only is it has like SEL information, and it follows students throughout their whole career, and it's accessible to our to anyone in the district, like to their counselors, to teachers, and anyone who is working towards their growth.
Okay, thank you.
Any other? You have another one? Let's see, we have future agenda items follow-up, and I'd like to recognize Superintendent Espinosa.
Thank you, President Ellsworth. And so at this time, I think that we've tried to answer this question in multiple different ways. But as I look at moving forward, currently, as the board knows, we're working on the mission, vision, and values. And we're also working on our new LCAP. So when we're talking about measuring the success of different programs throughout our district, whether it's the TOSA program, whether it's the language arts program, whether it's a math program, whether it's a counseling program, whatever program that we're implementing across our district, we agree as staff that we need to have some metrics, some way of measuring their success. It is very interesting that Trustee Likert brings up Panorama, because I just met with the counseling group and we had a conversation around Panorama, which could be used to measure the success of some of the areas that we've implemented in terms of student support. So yes, we do agree that we really need to look at how to measure each program. Earlier, Trustee Medina asked about our EL program, right? How are we measuring the success of the language programs or English learner programs? And then what are we doing after we measure their success? So we are looking at that, and as we move forward in developing our LCAP, we hope to have clearly identified metrics for the different programs that we will be offering our school district and our students, and hopefully that's how we're going to bring that to the board, and the board will, as you give input into the development of our LCAP, we will be able to look and discuss at whatever metrics are decided on.
So to get back to the answer of the night, what's the plan for the TOSAs?
There is no specific plan for the TOSAs at this time. The TOSAs are part of our LCAP. And as we heard Assistant Superintendent Reichert Montiel, talk about that the LCAP that we're currently working on is ending this year. And then we are looking at developing a new LCAP, which I just talked about. Anything, if TOSAs are going to be an action to support a goal that we're creating, then that'll come to the board in terms of what their future is, or whatever we determine with that specific program, or with any other program that's going to be developed in this new LCAP.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new LCAP and everything all the changes that are coming up, and I'll be looking forward for that. Thank you.
Communications from the Board of Trustees. To the Board of Trustees. Who would like to start?
I just want to thank you guys for staying until the end. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Yes, thank you. We've all had a very long day. We started at 4:30 for us here on the board, and many of you are there with us today in the office. So thank you all for all of your time, and have a good evening.
I just wanted to say that as I sat here in today's meeting and got to hear all the progress that our students are making, I got to see the pictures of all these happy kids, some of the kids here, and as I'm thinking of my family back at home, I can't help to think of all the innocent children that are being murdered overseas. It's horrible to think about the atrocities that are currently happening. And I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that. And I would like to ask for a moment of silence to honor all the dead children and the innocent people that are being murdered right now.
So be it. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Superintendent, for a wonderful agenda, and Madam President for chairing our meeting this evening. You've taken me back and my heart hurts. This month I participated in a few webinars, professional development, including attendance, as well as the MTSS. Throughout the state of California, I watched board meetings that address what that means, what that triangle means, and how their districts are moving forward with the tiered layered assistance plan, and how that relates to our district. And I'm really proud of the work that our district has done in regards to identifying what tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 is. And I really like the way that we had a deep dive before all this occurred, that each child comes in equal and services are regulated by need. So I really appreciate the work that the district has done in regards to that. I'm also not taking the thunder away from our president, but we are in the last stages of our volunteer work, if you will, for the subcommittee for the policy review. And so I want to thank you, Madam President, for this work together that we have done. And I look forward, well, I don't look forward because I really like the work, but I look forward to others sharing in that work. And so with that, I again want to thank everyone for their presentations. I follow everyone I can on social media, and so it makes me smile. We do live in a wonderful country. Everybody wants to come here. And it saddens me that we had to go through what we had to go through on Friday, and how our district pulled together with inclusion and equity talks on with our teachers and staff, and the county ed department sharing resources in regards to that to our parents as well as our educational staff. So it's been a challenging year. Let's keep those that are less fortunate in our hearts and our prayers. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, board, for a great meeting.
And I would like to take this opportunity to say good night. Your work is well appreciated, and let's go home. Good night.